The
Aren't those cool? They
right
just
here.
came out
Okay.
the center court.
My wife's got the Rogers.
They're, this is newer. I think it's a little bit. I have the Rogers too, but it's a little bit cuter pair. I think it comes in a couple different colors. Got a little bit more style to it and stuff.
Yeah.
Called the center court.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Center Court.
center court.
I think she's got their
Probably.
limited edition teal color, whatnot, or teal on the back end.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We carry all bone. Just came out this called a Monster. It's going to be a good one for good dinner.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Patty G Show. I'm your host, Patty G. We are here on a different day, but that's all right. We are in studio with Jenni Peters of Varsity Sports. We're going to learn a little bit about entrepreneurship, running, how all that ties together, starting a company when seeing an opportunity when you're in a totally different avenue, and just all things Varsity Sports. But before we do, we're going to make sure we give a huge shout out to our wonderful sponsors making this show possible. Big thanks to Falaya Real Estate, Government Taco, Currency Bank, Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, Horizon Financial Group, and Mallard Bay. Stay tuned to the end to hear a little bit more about them. And without further ado, Jenni, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Patty, and sorry about yesterday. It was
Oh my gosh, that was
monsoon.
No one could have planned for that. I would think it was just a condensed rainstorm in the matter of an hour and a half to 2 hours, but just a whole day lead up to just unloading.
We
completely.
tried. You and I tried.
We did. We were close. We were real close. But I get it. It's South Louisiana. When you get wet and you're done, you're done. I don't want to go anywhere after having to get stuck in a rainstorm. So, but I'm glad to have you here. You brought the sun today, so that's exciting.
Gorgeous Louisiana day today. This is the way we want it.
Oh yeah, what is it? 70 degrees or something like that. Just a nice sleeveless weather. You know,
white jeans.
Is it? Is there? I thought it's till after.
I hear spring, but
Spring,
I'm a
okay.
modern Southern woman. It's white jeans all year round to me. But I think spring was a couple days ago. So anyway, I'm pulling out my white jeans.
So white jeans are in now. I can wear my white jeans tomorrow, basically.
White jeans all year round for me.
Look, I love to wear not white jeans, but like your seersucker.
Oh God, yeah.
Or like your Hawaiian shirt. If I could wear Hawaiian shirts year round, I'm in. Like, sign me up.
And then why not?
Yeah,
I bet you have the Patty G embroidery.
Ooh, I need to get that done.
I think so.
Y'all do embroidery work?
We do.
Oh, okay. Maybe we need to get some varsity
I'm serious.
Hawaiian.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah, I'll wear them. I mean, I'm always looking for more shirts, by all means. But so, what do you do? Who is Jenni Peters?
If I had to define myself, I'm probably a lifelong teacher. That's kind of what I did. I taught at LSU in the marketing department for as many years as I can think. So, I can honestly say I'm one of those people that have had 3 dream jobs. I mean, jobs that who would ever think you'd ever get when teaching LSU. And then when Skip Burtman became athletic director, I went over to the athletic department. So I was there for Nick Saban National Championship, Les Miles National Championship, the Sue Gunter, Simone Augustus Final Four. Anyway, that was there for 7 years. And same time, I opened my own business, and now I have 4 stores. So you can't beat that for career. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go to the beginning. What is the origin story of Varsity? How did it come to be?
Like so many probably of the entrepreneurs and business owners that you've had around here, it happened by accident. I mean, it's a lot of things. I mean, who really knows what they're going to be doing in life? And that, would you think 10 years ago that you'd be hosting a broadcast show, a podcast? I mean, what's a podcast? I mean, it sounds like something that an agricultural product for pea farmers, but so I mean, you just don't know. And I was a competitive runner that kind of backed into competitive running, and the opportunity sort of presented itself in 2000. I co-owned a little building over on Perkins Road that was Zone C1 commercial, and at the time we were printing shirts in there, which have become our marketing tool for the last 20 years is the free T-shirts. But we renovated it to print T-shirts in, and then in 2000 we said, T-shirts are certainly going to go out of style pretty soon. We need to do something else, and I was a competitive runner and yada yada yada. So we said, let's try. Let's turn this little house into a running store and work it. And if we make money, we make money. But at least we're buying our own shoes.
Yeah, I mean, at least you got shoes to run in,
Yeah, I did. I ran for Nike competitively for numerous years, and so every couple months a free box of shoes would come to my door. But when that came to a screeching halt, it was time to actually buy shoes.
So how'd you get involved running for Nike?
Started kind of oddly. I didn't compete in high school or college. I was invited to come to a Miller Lite 5K run on College Drive when I was in grad school, and the rest is history. I did pretty well pretty quick, and so it was a matter of how well I'd run. So
Gotcha. And so was it like a contract? They reached out to you? Like how did the contract get in place? I mean, from a Miller Lite run, I'm thinking, oh, casual weekend runner. If somebody go to the same event, like was it a scouting event specifically, or
it may
they
have
just
been how well I drank the beer. I know
they like the combination?
it's a combination. She's a Renaissance woman. No, to make a long story short, it's kind of like baseball. You kind of have the AAA and the majors, and so I played AAA with a Nike regional team called Racing South Racing Team, and then I ran well and started achieving the times and places, and then you progress to the majors. You get on the national team.
Very cool. So that was kind of your background, and you were comfortable within that field. I
was.
guess.
I tried to run professionally for about a year, and that just wasn't for me. It just, every race was for your mortgage or your car note. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I mean, because does that work in a way of they pay you per race you compete for them, or their contract deals where it's sponsorships and you have to put out so much? I mean, because this is probably not in the same realm of when social media is so hot.
It's a little of both. I mean, the races had their prize money, and the Nike had bonus money if you were the first Nike and things like that. So anyway, it's, if I had to tell you, probably the most ever made in a race was about $7,000, which is not much.
Yeah, but I mean, for one race, I mean, that's not bad.
Well, I mean, which if that's the most you ever make.
Yeah,
in a
that's the
race,
most, right.
That's the most.
So then the running store just became this idea that you wanted to kind of change the scenery as to what was happening in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, when it was an easy transition, or I thought it was easy, we said, we're going to open a running store in January, and it wasn't until June till we got the permits and the renovation and the accounts and stuff. And that was really kind of side by side when I was in the athletic department. So it was a tough 7 years trying to open your first store and, do all things LSU athletics. But, people like me thrive on that kind of adrenaline.
Wait, so it took 7 years from start to
No, that
opening?
was when I opened in 2000 and got the job at LSU Athletics in 2001. So
Okay.
those two were sitting side by side. So I had to be at every home LSU athletic event and work with the store kind of in tandem. So
Gotcha. So you were working for the LSU athletic department after the 7 year period, but you'd already got your shop up and running and everything
is.
was going. Okay.
And then when things grew there, I left athletics and came to the store full time.
So did you ever think that you would be doing what you're doing today full time?
Never, ever, ever, ever. But who knows? Like I said, I love that. I've seen a bunch of your shows. I like that recurrent theme of people thinking they're going to do this, and this left turn in life happens, and here they're doing this.
Yeah. So you said 4 stores you have?
I do.
So opening the first one, I mean, you were already in the screen printing business. Was it nerve-wracking to kind of take that leap to open the store and make that pivot essentially?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I had kind of I'm a risk taker, but everything I did was a calculated risk. It was the way I raised my initial money was kind of interesting in that I needed to raise $100,000 quick. So I looked at a group of Baton Rougeans that I thought would be logical, good for, they would refer to the store, that money's no big deal. So I asked 20 of my closest friends for $5,000 each to invest in a groovy little running store over in Perkins Road. And I got that money. I think it took 2 weeks to get that. And it's
That's
no
incredible.
interest, friends, and, and they've been my friends, and they've gone on to invest in some other stores. And I've recently bought most of them out at a really good return.
Not the original $5,000 investment.
It was a really good return, but I can't thank them enough because it was a physical therapist, it was a head of a gym, it was a pediatrician. And if you think about it, they had every reason to want that to succeed. So you can imagine hey, go, the to Varsity Sports, and so anyway, it worked out real good. I got 100,020 very vested people in Baton Rouge that wanted our store to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, and they can refer people to use your products.
Oh,
And so,
heck yeah.
they, and I guess in a sense, wanted a skin in the game so they could say, go to the Varsity Sports. It's where I send all my people. I've got, it's one of the stores I'm involved with. And I'm sure they were feeling comfortable and confident in recommending their patients to go and actually shop there.
Absolutely, or at least I'm hoping. And, that was 20 years ago. So we must have been doing something right back then.
So what was the landscape like back when you started? Were there many shops like this, or were you kind of the first one to make that shift to something local?
There weren't many. I mean, when I go to the industry trade shows and stuff like that, we're kind of one of the old school people. So there was, one of the people, Southern Runner in New Orleans, was a family owned, pretty cool little store down by Audubon Park. And I called him, Mike Andrews, and got some advice. And how much can I make? What can I do? And he gave me a different scenario than what happened. He said, "Oh, those stores, you'll be lucky if you make $250,000 a year." And so it's like, ooh, that's a tight budget. But anyway, I learned a whole lot along the way.
Right. I mean, with your marketing background, you're able to kind of go in knowing how to get the product out there and showcase it to people. And then the rest of it can kind of just get picked up along the way, I guess.
Hopefully, people talk about marketing, and even when I talk marketing, but there's no magic to marketing. It's just developing relationships. It's so much about developing relationships. 20 years ago, that's what it was about, and today, that's what it's all about.
And so, was it when you're teaching at the university? Do you find the principles that you're actually putting into place every day for your business kind of align with what you were teaching, or was there some real world factor that wasn't accounted for in the books?
There's a lot of real world. There's the School of Hard Knocks that you don't teach at LSU, because I was actually teaching a retail management class when I was there, and I had some experience in it, but not owning a store. I go back and say, oh my God, if I could teach retail management today, I could tell what it's really like. And it's interesting, and it's evolved. Right now it's, our industry maybe 5 years ago was worried about the internet, the Amazon taking all our business, and our industry's never been stronger. After 20 years, I'm shocked and so gratified to say we had all 4 of our stores. We had our best years ever in 2021, ever.
Why was that, you think?
The pandemic was good to stores like us when people, there's nothing good about the pandemic, but people got outside and they walked and they, got involved, and, and then coming out of it, everybody wanted to be out and doing things. I guess, I don't know, but we've had a terrific growth spurt, and thank you, Baton Rouge, for doing that. It
Yeah.
means a lot. That Baton Rouge is wonderful to their local businesses.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, everybody is always trying to find who can we shop at locally, who
Isn't
can
that
we
the
go to
truth?
locally.
It
It's
is
not,
so good.
if a new brand comes in town, their first question is, well, who owns it? Who really owns the
Who's your
store?
mom and them?
Yeah, who's your mom and them? Are we going to see them on Sunday for dinner, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, within the pandemic, I feel like, personally speaking, that we got out a lot more. We were taking walks, going
Did
on
you?
runs, biking. Like, you were outdoors a lot more than we had been.
And all your neighbors, too.
And we would see all of our
Yeah.
neighbors. And everybody was going on walks or running. They were getting back out instead of being cooped up, because everybody was tired of being cooped up.
Absolutely.
If you're working from home for 8-10 hours a day, you don't want to then sit inside for the rest of the day. You want to actually get out there and do something. So I know, like, a lot of running clubs, like Jennifer and Nellie, they put together like a little basic running crew out in their subdivision.
They're
And they would
wonderful.
run like a marathon, and they would just do all types of things. And so to me, it almost kind of makes sense that people were like, I need shoes, because then they realize I don't have the best of shoes.
And you could do okay in the shoes you got from Dillard's or Shoe Station or whatever, but people got a little bit more serious about it, and wanted something biomechanically that matched up to their feet. And one thing I might add, though, Baton Rouge is just a hugely active town with running clubs that people don't even know about. It's just great, and they're all very, very supportive. It's not a cliquish type of town. We've got Jen and Nellie's group, and they've got Happy's Running Club on Tuesday that probably has 200 people. We've
Is it
got
that
Black Girls
many?
Run. We got Black Men Run. There's a Mid City Running Club. I could go on and on and on. But there's all these little factions, and some of them overlap. And we've got our big varsity group, but they're all very supportive, and there's just a lot of them. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, like I've seen some of them. I think Saturday mornings, probably around like 5 or 6 in the morning. They're run by like Town Center. I
Hmm.
see a group of them cutting through Town Center as I'm heading to the gym.
That was probably us.
And
District Donuts is one of our favorite. Before and after.
yeah, but isn't District closed?
Just closed.
Like that was one of the. I was hearing yesterday. I think Jay Cody was talking about it. That was one of like the big local boutique donut shops
Yeah.
that now is no longer in existence.
I think it was a location thing because they're New Orleans based, and I'm friends
Okay.
with their owner. Because we have a store in Lakeview, New Orleans, kind of up and comer, and there's only 2 stores in the shopping centers, District Donuts and Varsity Sports Lakeview. So they're killing it in New Orleans. Just I think there was a lease situation, and don't quote me on that, but
Right.
I think they loved it here. It just didn't work out. So they're still killing it in Lakeview. Trust me.
So do you? So y'all being the only 2 stores in the shopping center, it's like to me like a dentist giving their patients candy, right?
It's
do the runs, go eat the donuts, but then you got to go back to run because you ate the donuts.
it's a real Louisiana synergy, Patty. It's a real Louisiana synergy going on there.
I love that. So you got Baton Rouge, you got Lakeview. Where are the other 2 locations of the stores?
We have our second store is actually in Mandeville on the lakefront,
Okay.
which is a absolutely fabulous location. We actually bought a little house like Baton Rouge in 2007. We're close to the lake. We keep having issues with Lake Pontchartrain flood. Anyway, we sold that. We're actually building right now in the middle of building a new store right on the Mandeville Trailhead. So if you're familiar with the Tammany Trace, it's where people bike. It's just, it's on a Sunday, it's, hundreds of people going from Slidell to Abita to the brewery and stuff. We are building a new store right there on the trailhead. It's going to be great. It'll open this summer.
And so you said y'all had a house. Is it going to be the same house style as the Baton Rouge store? Like, is that kind of the theme or the
That
brand?
is a theme. That's part of the brand. It will be. The one that we have now is a real old. It's actually a historic house, and it's probably one of my favorite stores. Dennis Hargroder, who has circa 1857, actually designed it. So it's so cool. But this new one is, I hate to say it's Chip and Joanna Magnolia type of look, but it kind of is.
It's old but modern.
Old but modern. Yeah.
I like that. So what kind of, having such a unique building as a brand, what led to that idea? Or was it just, it was there?
It was coincidence, just like so many things. But, it became a real part of our brand. I just didn't want to be anywhere else. And our other store's on Magazine Street right there, and it's just a great little New Orleans house. So they're all, little houses brand. What we found is just people feel more comfortable there. They come in, spend more time, feel more comfortable. Because, sometimes these slick running store looks are a little bit intimidating to people that are non-runners that come in there. Patty, if you would come in there on a Saturday, you probably would see 1 runner and 9 people that either have feet issues or going to Disney or, have balance issues. Anyway, it's just, the thing is the little store is not intimidating to those people that have become the core of our business, which are not runners.
Really? So the core of your business is not runners?
It's not runners.
That is
Isn't
fascinating.
that crazy?
That is fascinating.
That's how we've grown, really. If we depended only on runners, it would be wonderful. But, it's just we work with a lot of the doctors. Like I said, the Disney business is huge. And that covers everything from people going on cruises to going to Disney to, they walk and they want something comfortable to walk in. So
I guess it makes sense because I know, like during the Mardi Gras week when schools are out here in Louisiana, Disney is flooded with Louisiana people. But I would never think of in a running store, how can we target people who like Disney?
isn't that something? And then word of mouth, it's just, the Disney business is crazy right now.
So you have people come in that say, we're here specifically for a trip to
absolutely.
Disney.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
What are you doing in your shoes? I'm walking around Disney.
Okay, so when the store in Baton Rouge opened, when did you decide it was time to open a second one?
When one of my reps from one of my shoe brand companies called and says, Jenny, there's a house in Mandeville that is absolutely adorable. You're going to love it. And it's zone commercial. And so, all my business partners and friends say, Jenny, you just had a crush on that house. You didn't really need to open another store. And I had a crush on that house, and I didn't need to open another store. But, the rest is history, thank goodness.
Yeah.
The business gods are looking favorably on me.
Well, that's incredible. Going from one store to two stores, isn't that's the hardest expansion growth right there. I think is what
It
they say,
is.
1 to 2, and then once you get to 2 to 3 to 4, you've already got your systems in place. I mean, have you found that to be the case or contrary?
No, all the people that work for Varsity Sports have been there forever. Our managers of all the stores are people that have started in Baton Rouge and gone on and, entering the other stores. I mean, probably our average staff member has been there 10 years, 15 years. It's just,
Wow.
it's a good family. So our manager in Mandeville has been there since the beginning. Our Mandeville in New Orleans started when we was running cross country at LSU. So, I could just, I mean, I could just hand it over to them. So it's easy just because you have good people running them.
That's got to be such a good feeling, right? As a business owner,
Oh,
you know
yeah,
when you go into a new market, you've already got a team that you can just put in place, and they're going to run it just like it's their own.
absolutely.
I mean, in the what are they calling it? The age of the Great Resignation. I mean, keeping people for 10 plus years. I mean, what is so special? I guess that makes them want to stay.
I guess you'll have to ask them. The big bucks.
The big bucks. Okay, so what is so unique about the store itself? I know y'all don't just have people walk in and say, "Hey, I want to buy a shoe." All right, here's our best seller. Like, what do you walk me through an experience as a new customer? What am I gonna get? What am I gonna get when I walk in the door of Varsity?
I think it kind of goes back to the relationship that hopefully you have. I mean, the reality is we all know, Patty, that you can one click a shoe and have it tomorrow. That's the easy way to do it. And, there's people that do it. So I've got to ask myself, what can I give Patty that's going to make him not want to one click? And that's working with you specifically, helping you to develop, what your biomechanical needs. I mean, we've got a cool technology. I mean, this is Technology Park here, that actually evaluates your foot. It's a 3D scanner and it's a gait analysis. And, we take some time and try to put you into what you would need. And, people come in there with issues and not issues. And, we spend a lot of time with them. I mean, it's not uncommon for you to have 12 boxes of shoes in front of you. And that's something that you can't get. You can't have somebody online really telling you what you need, and you order a shoe and it's like, this didn't really fit me and it didn't feel like I thought. If Do you return it, or I'm a bad returner? But you get this opportunity to come try 12 shoes that I recommended. And so, I mean, hopefully it's the service and the experience and the fact that I tell my staff, people don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. So I can talk about all the technical features of the shoe, but it's got to work for that person.
Right. Every shoe is individually picked for each individual person.
It is. Well, 12 of them, and then the feet do the
They're
real
talking.
selection.
So
Yeah.
it's like 12 the number you've come to,
No,
or
no,
is it
that's
just
I mean, if you go in there, and on Saturdays when we're busy and we don't have time to put things up, I mean, it is shoe heaven. It's shoe boxes everywhere. So it's a good crazy. I think people kind of feed off the energy,
yeah? I mean, and
or
that's,
go running down the street like, oh my God, I'm not going in there today.
yeah. Well, but I think it's that again. Like you've seen the show, everyone talks about how great the people are here. So when going into Varsity, so on a busy Saturday, it's gonna be it could be a long wait, but you're gonna have a good time because everybody's there and it's that community you're able to see and meet new friends essentially.
It kind
And
of is that way. I mean, we have free beer in the refrigerator for anybody that wants to get it.
oh man,
Paradise Park. As a matter of
Paradise
fact,
Park.
you know,
Okay,
so
Barrett knows you get me real easy when you get Paradise Park in the fridge.
Patty, come in, get a Paradise Park, sit down with me, and I'll take care of you.
I love
You can't
that.
one click that.
No, you can't. I mean, you can try to shop online and get someone to video conference. Okay, do a walk or walk back to me. But again,
Right.
it's in the store. You have to put the shoe on. And I think retail specifically is starting to get back into that. People want that personal connection. They want that personal relationship from retail. They don't. I mean, yeah, it's easy and nice to, tell your Alexa, hey, purchase this item, or go online and purchase it from Amazon or whatever box store. But having that personal connection with a sales rep is almost like irreplaceable.
And that's so funny. You talked about going back to my teaching, how things are. Back then, I taught these theories called the Wheel of Retailing and the Accordion Theory and Retail Management. You and Barrett might both have remembered that. But, now I'm actually seeing it in my life. The Accordion Theory kind of was, they went from specialty to, more broad appeal type of stores like the department store, back down to specialty. And then, anyway, retailing is always evolving. And I think you're right that people do like the connection, particularly coming out of, the pandemic.
Yeah.
People miss that connection.
I mean, we are social creatures by nature. We thrive on interacting with people, even if we like to be quiet in our little corner. It's still we having a little bit of human interaction is good for us. And when it comes to shopping and getting that comfort feeling, I mean, I know walking into a home is much more comfortable than walking into a massive, 40,000 square foot commercial sized building in a mall. It just like is overwhelming for some people.
Well, and we hope so. We've developed relationships. It's cute where people will come in and bring, it's mom's birthday, and I'm coming here to, mom and I are celebrating, we're having lunch, and we're going to Varsity Sports to get her some cheese. Or, and on LSU Saturdays, we continually have people that plan their trip into Baton Rouge. They got to make their trip to by Varsity and then go to the game. People from out of town. So it's really, really gratifying.
So y'all have almost become like a staple shop to visit when you're in Baton Rouge.
Well, I'll tip my water to that.
And so going into kind of the business beforehand, the shirts, I mean, that Barrett and I were talking beforehand, I think it was yesterday or something, like there is, when you think of Varsity Sports, your first thought comes to the shirts that you give. I mean, my wife and her mom went to go get her new shoes she was going on a hiking trip or something. And they went to Varsity. And I come home from work and I'm looking on my counter and I've got a 1T shirt sitting on my counter.
Oh, good.
I'm like, why is there a Varsity shirt here? And she's like, well, the ladies were in there. My wife was pregnant at the time. And they were like, oh, you're having a newborn. Here, you have to have a shirt. Like you can't, this would be the first shirt your kid owns is a Varsity Sports shirt.
It said cry hard, live easy.
Oh, it does in the back?
It says cry.
See,
and then we have another one that's crawl hard, live easy. So we're going to take you from cradle to, to maturity.
I love that. So what went into, like, was there a time where y'all said we're going to do this, or was it just happenstance where you had the machine and equipment?
It was that. We have screen printing in the back, so we said, okay, for this, what better way can we get our name out there than give a free T-shirt that we're printing in the back to, every customer? That was supposed to be for the first month, and, we're 22 years later, so.
And so you're still maintaining the free shirt with a pair of shoes.
I mean, people are probably getting tired of T-shirts. Why don't we give mouse pads and coffee cups? Offer that. That was like a lead balloon.
Did y'all try it, or do you still have them?
We tried it. I think I have the collector mouse pad because But anyway, people just love the tees, and you see them. A neat thing, Patty, is that we get people that send me. I'm Varsity shirt in Egypt. I'm Varsity shirt underwater. They send us pictures of them in the shirts all over the world. I mean, I've got a gallery of all the places. I almost kind of collect them. It's like, oh, I don't have one from Antarctica, and now I've got one.
That's incredible.
It's
so
so
they'll just like send y'all via email some shirts.
I've got them from everywhere.
That is so powerful.
Isn't that cool?
As a brand.
I know.
Like just having that, because at that point it's more than the shoes they're wearing. People are like, where can I get that shirt? And they see the brand and it's top of mind all the time.
Or one of my good friends saw somebody in Paris in a Varsity shirt, so there was an instant connection.
Yes.
Oh, you're from Louisiana. Yeah. So that makes me feel good. But the funny thing, and this is going to sound so pathetic, I don't even know what it sounds like to me. I'll be at the beach or something and see people in Varsity shirts, and I'm almost shy about it. I'm a little self-conscious. It's like, oh, I don't even know where that comes from. It's like, but I don't. I'm self-conscious when I see somebody in a Varsity shirt.
So will you approach them and tell them who you are? Or you'll just casually snap a photo like.
No, but I love seeing it. Don't get me wrong.
So do people stop you? Like, are you ever stopped for? Okay,
they don't know me. That's why.
I mean, that instant connection is so true. I mean, anywhere you are, if you see somebody with something, whether I know it's for LSU, it's for Varsity. I mean, it's that instant connection.
Yeah, LSU
you strike up a conversation.
Yes.
And those people, that's what matters, having those relationships in place.
It absolutely does.
So how did y'all get into the running club or starting running clubs?
Just, because that's what I did throughout competition. I mean, I've been running with groups, way before Varsity. And, it's kind of a good community thing to do. If you cultivate runners, you're going to have runners shop at your store. One thing that we do a little different than other running stores around the country, most running stores charge a fee for their running club. Their thought is it pays for some of the coaches' time because they hire coaches, and they think it gives a little bit of commitment from the person. But we never have and never will. I mean, our running group is so committed no matter what. They could pay me $150 a year, or, it comes back 10 times in their loyalty and how much they shop at the store. I could never ask them for money.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is far more important than an annual
Don't you
fee in a
know? I
running
know.
club.
When I go to those shows, it's like, oh, how can you do that? It's like, how can you do that?
So are y'all still doing trade shows now?
hmm We just came back. We have
Okay.
something called the Run-In event in Austin every year. It's super fun.
I used to dabble in trade shows. I used to have a lifestyle brand called Off the Pier, and we would screen print and sell little wooden Louisianas and all that.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
trade shows are fun. They're an interesting interaction.
Well, these we don't sell out, thank goodness. It's where the big
Okay.
vendors come.
So,
and the
these are
Brooks
vendor
Yeah,
shows.
yes, they're vendor
Okay.
shows. The big, the Nikes and the Brooks and the Sauconys, they put on big parties. You know the way those are, big parties and big exhibits and give away their shoes.
Try to get you to purchase from them.
Exactly.
So what was it like going to that first one? Did you have any experience like being with Nike going to those, or was it when you opened the store was your first?
It was, yeah, that was the first. It's just real exciting. You're new and everything's new and all the brands are cool and so it's still that way though. It's every year you get to see all the new stuff and it's a fun industry to be in. So a really fun industry to be in.
Yeah, I feel like the running is just a more relaxed atmosphere,
Oh,
a more
gosh, yeah.
relaxed industry.
Party people, ooh, they are party people. But they're just a lot of fun. They're very serious about what they do. But they enjoy their good times.
Hey,
They'll do some entertaining.
that fits in with the Louisiana motto, being able to just enjoy the good times.
I know. And I'm at Brooks Running, which is one of our top brand. Jim Weber, the head of that company, lives on the lake in Seattle, Washington, a couple doors down from Bill Gates, Microsoft. So, it's super cool to go out there as a vendor and take a dinner cruise in front of Bill's house. And, I've had some great experiences because of running.
That's a fun time.
I know. It's a real fun time.
So, where is the coolest place you ever raced?
Probably Tokyo, Japan.
Really?
Yeah, just because it was that. If you've ever been to Tokyo, it's so surreal because, the language is so much like ours, the signs, the streets. But I raced in Olympic Stadium in Tokyo for U.S. track and field team for United States. Of course, it's for United States. No, I ran for Japan. So I ran there. I ran the 10,000, which is 6.2 miles.
That's a long race.
On a track, it is a long race. On a road, it's not so bad. It's kind of common. It's what Crescent City and
Yeah.
some of the others. But on a track, it's long.
And was it a 400
Yes,
track?
yeah, it was a
Okay.
typical track.
See, I did the Baton Rouge Beach Marathon, and I did the Baton Rouge Half and Louisiana Full. And when you run those distances on the roads and in the open, it doesn't feel that long, especially in the city.
Yes, yeah, because you go
It's
through
'cause
all the different things.
You're cutting through neighborhoods, you're cutting in these crossroads. Like the longest stretch I felt like was going down Goodwood all the way. That felt like the longest stretch to me. But where I'm running, when I was training for it, I was running my parents' house in Sunshine, Louisiana on Plaquemines Point. It's a 10.5 mile loop.
Well, that sounds
And so
great.
running that loop, you're in the country, and so it's just a straight shot down River Road. That felt like so much longer than running in the city.
There's just courses that just don't feel as long as others. The ones that go to different areas, I think, are kind of the ones that do that instead of the long out and backs for sure. But, so 10K on the track it's a long way.
Do you ever lose count running those?
Oh,
that
they
many
count
laps?
for you.
Okay.
It's 24 laps. I remember the first time I ran, wasn't very experienced with 10K on the track. I ran in the Olympic trials 10K in LA and, gosh, I hate to say it, 1984. And, there's a lot of turns to the inside. You're obviously going this way. And there's turns. I woke up the next morning and my whole arm was really sore. And I figured it was the lean. Other people had told me. I just wasn't experienced. It's that because you're always going in that direction in 24 laps or 30-something minutes. And so I was just really, really sore. Odd, but anyway.
Well, no, I mean, that makes complete sense, having just a one direction that you're going around
and really
and around.
working hard at it.
So when training for that, do you ever switch and run the other way? I mean, I feel like it would kind of throw you off kilter going the other way.
I guess I'm mostly trained going the correct way, but I'm one of these people that likes a lot of variation, so I wouldn't be surprised if I would want to do it the other way.
That makes sense. So going into the races, I see y'all put on a lot of races. What races do y'all put on in the community?
We actually don't. We're kind of out of the putting on business because there's a lot of good race companies, Fresh Junkie Racing that puts on a lot of stuff. We like to be sponsors, and we're involved. Shamrock is probably 5K is probably one of the ones that we're a little bit more involved with the race implementation. But we work with Maben Shingleton and Brittany Weiss Shingleton. It's kind of their race that we help them with, because Brittany came to us a couple years ago and said, "Hey, can we do this?" And she's wonderful to work with. So we said, "Oh, heck yeah."
I love that. And so correct me if I'm wrong, you're starting to get involved with the Perkins Overpass project. Explain to me what that is over there and what's happening.
Gosh, for years we have wanted to get some way to get from one side to the other without having gone over the overpass. Have you run over the overpass?
I have. It's not the most pleasant experience
Describe
in the
that
world.
experience to me.
Nerve-wracking, scary.
Harrowing.
Yes. Fear for my life is a phrase that comes to my head.
It's just that way. And there's so many people. We've got the Garden District and the 100 Oaks area on this side, and then all the groovy little places on this side. And there's just a disconnect if you wanted to, bring your baby in a stroller or a bike and stuff like that. And underneath can be done, but we work with CPAC's, planning they were doing a demonstration in 2016. Our varsity group got under there and cleaned it out and manicured a trail. And the thought was, let's do this and show the city, what could be, and hand it off to the city. And I thought that was going to happen, because we really, I've got some pictures to show you. We really made that place look nice, but nothing ever happened. And so, I kept revisiting it. And then, oddly, when Misty and Brubby Broussard opened Building 5, and, Chad Hughes has got bum steers. He'd also opened a new unled. Anyway, there's a bunch and Al Morrow moved in. I'm stumbling only to say there was a group of people that felt as strongly as I did about it. And I said, well, let's do it. So we're pretty far along. We put together the 5 of us put up $40,000 to get a survey done and a plan done, because the city was moving a little slower than independent business owners are used to moving.
Yeah. That comes to that parallel of business owners taking it into their own hands versus waiting for the city to get it done.
It's so that way. We're just, we want it done tomorrow, because that's the way we're used to doing things. It's a common theme with entrepreneurs that you interview. We're impatient.
You don't want to wait around.
No, and we're ready. But the thing is, it's not like we're going to complain about it. We're willing to roll up our sleeves, and that's what we told the city, not that you owe this to us, that we'll help you do it. You just tell us what you need us to do. So we're pretty far along, and we were getting nowhere fast, and I'm not going to place any blame, but we were getting nowhere fast. So we finally said, we've spent all this money. We're just going to show the public what we've got, and let the chips fall where they may. And so that's what we did about a couple of weeks ago. The outpouring of support has just been incredible. So we have high hopes, talking to the city again next week, how high hopes of getting it done. Everybody we talk to think it's something that should have been done years ago. It just wasn't. Somebody just need to get it done.
Yeah, and I think projects like that are a prime example of business owners, realizing the need in the community and saying, we're going to be the ones that put our foot forward and make something happen. We're going to show that we want it done, and we're willing to put our money on the line to make it something that's going to be a reality, instead of just saying, oh, let's wait, let's put it off, let's wait for them to do it, go through the channels,
or complain about should do
or
complain
about
more
it.
Paths,
right.
Or have more of this.
It's instead of, hey, we think this should happen. Here's the solution. We've paid to have people survey. We've put into consideration. We've put it out before the public. We've gotten feedback. What permits, licensing, what's the next step? We've got it this far. Just we needed to sign the dotted line, and let's just keep pushing.
And there's a lot of grants that are out there. There's a federal grant that's going to open up next month. There's Move BR. There's money that's out there that this is the type of project that it's supposed to go to. So, and we've worked with BRAC. There's a lot of things that should happen, but it's just, hopefully it will. I keep saying that Baton Rouge is like one click away from being a cool city, maybe 2 clicks. And it's just going to take, young people like you and, Barrett with Falaya that are going to stay here and be committed to the city. And, and Make it cool. I mean, there's no reason it can't be. I mean, I've recently with two people that were involved in this project, two girls that had moved with their two different people, two different business women that moved to D.C. and North Carolina, a little bit younger, fun, wanted to get out of Baton Rouge, only to come back because this is where they wanted to be, because this is where their people were. And, they're still young, and they're the ones that are involved with it saying, I want to be involved with this project because this is what I want my Baton Rouge to be.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's going to take, is that the generations that are here for the long haul saying we want it to be something unique and vibrant. We want to revitalize what we can instead of just always accepting the status quo. You're going to have those status challengers that are going to say, "Hey, that's a great idea. Let's make it happen."
Please, Patty, make that happen.
I mean, we're going to do what we can, and that's originally the reason for starting this show, was having conversations with people at LSU saying they can't wait to leave Baton Rouge. They can't wait to go to the next big city, the next big place.
That breaks my heart.
Like
But I don't blame them.
I mean, I get it. I get their perspective, and they were saying that opportunity is outside of Baton Rouge. By all means, there's opportunity outside of Baton Rouge, but they wanted that quicker gratification. They wanted that instant, I get to a place, everything's already done, I'm here, as opposed to there's so much potential within the city. There's so much potential within the people that are here and already happening. Why don't we start bringing that up to the light and start showcasing that? And then it just kind of clicked for me of, well, why don't I just set up some cameras and microphones and start bringing people on, doing great things in the community, being the forefront of projects like this, having your building right on the St. Patty's Day parade route, which apparently is a hot spot to go for the parade time, is Varsity Sports.
It's hot.
And just showcase everything that's going on in the business community to show that there are opportunities here. I mean, you've got employees that have been around with 10 plus years. That's not something that should ever be, oh, we don't hear about it, we don't know about it. It's something that's happening off in the shadows no one talks about. It's how do we get the conversation so much to the forefront where people are reading the newspapers or consuming their content and saying, wow, Baton Rouge has really got something going on.
Or is
Baton
about
Rouge
to.
is on fire. Or is about to.
It's about to.
Why don't I move in before everything gets going so I can be there on the ground floor and be a part of everything that's happening? Like you said, that girl that moved back because this is where their people are and they want to be involved.
It's people, it's roots, it's sense of community. I mean, we've got a gorgeous piece of property on the river with the lake. I mean, it's plenty recreational. There's plenty of potential. I mean, it's got the bones to be a good city. It's just not quite there.
Yeah, and a little bit of here and there, but projects like what y'all are working on is kind of that start, that momentum of also getting into the community's mind that private citizens can put forth proposals like this to encourage people to go before the people in public office and say, hey, here's what we think is a great idea. We've put some money up to validate that it's warranted and people want it. We've also got the community behind us. Let's start doing this together and making it happen.
I appreciate you saying so, because we're pushing ahead with it.
Yeah, I think it's something that needs to happen, and I think it's
small, but it's symbolic. I mean, it could be a cool place. It could be a really cool place, because I don't want just a sidewalk. I mean, it's going to be a linear park. I mean, that's what we have in mind. Things going on down there, benches and seats and swings and places you can have yoga classes and farmers markets. So there's, it could be a place you want to take people to see.
It's a community within and of itself that otherwise would just be greenery.
Yeah.
And
if you've been there lately, it's not greenery at all. But
space, vacant space, we'll say. But I think it also encourages more people being active in the outdoors, more walking from the Garden District to that little corner by the overpass. There's so many great restaurants over there. There's a convenience store right on the corner. It's opening up the door for people to have alternative means of transportation, especially now when we're looking at $5 a gallon, gas prices. It's now we can walk to go to the overpass. We can walk to go to Building 5. We can walk to go to Varsity Sports. Now it opens up that new idea, especially with people with young kids. I can safely bring my child from my home in the Garden District to a restaurant and have dinner and then walk back.
Yeah, it's a natural, and like I said, there's you probably look ahead and probably have some of these people on, but there's a lot of new restaurants emerging there. Chad Lyons from Soji is opening he's using the old bum steers and doing an Italian restaurant, and Chad is doing unleaded, a barbecue place in the Cracker Barrel. And, there's just a lot of, in the summer, that place is just going to be, super vibe city.
I know, and I feel like a good, or most of the businesses that are opening as of late are like restaurants, because Louisiana, that's the culture, right? The food. You spend most of your time cooking around family and friends. It's our activity. Like that's what I do with my family. If we go to have a weekend, get together or something, we're cooking. It's just what Louisiana and Baton Rouge is all about.
Yep.
So what other events do y'all have in the community that y'all are involved with as far as races or running clubs go?
We just try to keep things going year round. We're involved with it. I'm one of those people, if it's a worthwhile event and people want us to be involved, we try to get involved, with all of the big races in town. Probably one of the iconic one that's coming up in a couple of weeks is the Fat Boy 5K that we're involved in. So, anybody that has not registered, they still have some spots left. I think it's clubsouthrunners.org, but it's the Fat Boy 5K. They're unique, and it's just a 3-mile run, and after it, they have chocolate milk and Manda sausages and donuts, and, it's just a fun little niche race. So, and the races are just now coming back on to the schedule, and really excited about that.
Yeah, so they're starting to get more and more races on the calendar this year.
Yep.
And I think also in part with the races is it's not just about how fast you can go, right? It goes back to that community element of you've got people of all skill sets competing in these races.
Oh yeah, and when I used to run, it was people tied up their shoes to race, and people knew who was in the top 10, yada yada yada. Today's runner just wants to participate. They're going to put their picture on social media, and here I am with the medal. And not that that's bad at all. It's probably the better way to do it. But if you ask those same people, who won the race today? I would say
they have no idea.
No, I have no idea. In my day, it's like, oh, not who won. Let me tell you who's in the top 10, men and women.
What do you think caused that shift?
I don't know, but it was a good one. Just participate. Probably social media may have sort of shifted that, where people wanted to be seen doing active things. And, a couple of the races started finding their niche in fun type of events. Like I'd say the Rock and Roll series started that, and Rock and Roll Nashville, which, attracted a lot of people because they had a band at every mile, and, your average person would do it, and they have big guitar medals, and, so your average person wanted to do it. They're running for the medal and the fun, and, here I am in Nashville and Elvis's house, and,
Yeah, I think it became exercising as fun, not so much of a chore anymore.
Yep, participate with my friends.
Yeah, Oh my gosh, there are so many groups of people that will go and register with 5 or 10 friends for a race, and they run together. And it's like that is incredible to see, instead of it being what could typically be labeled as an individual sport. You're running by yourself, now you run with a group.
Absolutely. It's a lot of destination trips. I know I've been on a bunch of them myself, We had a group that ran one of the relays that started in the park in San Francisco, ran across a bridge and relayed up to the wine country. I mean, those type of things are just like glorious.
Oh yeah, and then the race from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. What is that? What is that?
Orleans.
Yeah, Rouge Orleans. That is a really cool race to see those people take those legs and eventually run a whole marathon over the course of the entire race.
And there's a lot of those across the country that way. Another one that we did was, Bourbon Chase, and it was 200 miles in relay. They went to all the bourbon distilleries in Kentucky, or most of them. Those were the stops. Oh, it's so much fun. So it takes running to a whole different element. It's about the friends in the van doing relays and stopping at the bourbon and watching Maker's Mark dip their bottle, and so
that's the camaraderie right there.
Well, it's fun.
Oh yeah, and so I used to do triathlons and ran cross country in high school, and so all of those races were a blast. I mean, if anyone has not been to a race, my mom would always call it's a true spectator sport. Going to those races and those events, because she would get just as much fun being a spectator watching all of us compete as we would actually participating.
Particularly a triathlon, there's so much going on there.
Oh yeah, with the transition time, she would see us coming in, and she would watch us in T1 and T2 and doing all the shoe changes and getting on the bikes and everything, and that was a blast. But it was always the after parties that would be a blast, because they'd bring in bands, they'd have food.
You feel so good after doing all that.
You feel incredible. For some, it was we did the Redneck Man, the first year that they did
Redneck
it.
Man.
It was in, I
Fun
think,
one.
around like Lafayette or
Uh-huh.
Opelousas area, and we were the first year that they ever put the race on, and so like we were out there, we were the first ones to register. Like they did it by time you registered, so we had bib numbers 4, 5, 6, and 7, and I was like, this is not according to swim time. I don't know who this is, but it was a fun thing to go to because after the end, they were so new that they were still figuring everything out, and it was fun to be a part of that. Because they were grabbing people that were competitors. Hey, help us with this. Help us with this. And it was all a big community event.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting to see the community come around these racing events and just put their heart out and enjoy it as a whole.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. You're telling me music to my ear. A wonderful Saturday in Louisiana.
Oh yeah. So what's on the horizon for Varsity Sports?
Continuity, I guess. The store in Mandeville probably is the biggest thing because I'm really excited about that, and that'll be. It was a long time coming. For everybody that you talk to says, then COVID happened, so I'm a then COVID happened story. So, and now we're back, and the cost of building is, a lot more than before COVID.
A little bit higher than anticipated.
So that's got, that will make you not sleep at night, but it's going to be fine. So that's probably the biggest thing that we've got. And then we're just kind of continuous all year round, trying to find something fun to do.
That's exciting. So looking back on the 20 plus years you've been in business, is there anything you would have changed along the way?
No, not really, because you've got to learn the hard way sometimes. You got to make your mistakes to move on. Thankfully for me, I don't mind making mistakes at all. And the ones I usually make I don't make real big financial gambles. I do, I think, calculated ones. So, I can afford to lose it.
Right. It's not, you're not betting the house on this one thing that could go wrong.
But trust me, mistakes have been made many, many times along the way. But I don't think there's anybody in business that would tell you that they would do.
Yeah. See, I look at them as it's not mistakes, it's lessons.
Oh, without a doubt. Some a little harder than others.
Yeah, some sting a little harder. Those lessons hurt a little bit more, but it's you're learning a way not to do something.
That's a good point. Exactly.
So I think that from any entrepreneur standpoint, if they're afraid to take this risk or they're afraid they might make a failure or make a mistake, you have to along the way. I mean, it's just gonna happen. It's a natural progression of business.
It's gonna happen. It's not whether it's gonna happen. It's just how you deal with it.
So I'm curious, are there any particular shoe brands you won't carry?
Not really. The only thing I would tell you, and I hate to call brands out, but it could be such potential. Skechers, the shoe, actually tried to get into the serious running market, and the rep that we had was great. And the shoe with the Skechers Razor was a really good shoe. I ran in it a bunch. And we tried to bring it in, and people just don't take the Skechers brand serious as a running shoe. So we brought it in, and it just didn't work. If they would even called it the Razor as opposed to Skechers, but Skechers just, Skechers was too Skechers in the mind of people that came in our store. Even the Disney crowd didn't want to come in there and get Skechers.
Isn't that crazy how just a name of the
I
brand,
know,
regardless of the quality of the shoe or the product.
But if
the
you came in
name
there and
sticks
saw
in
the
it.
Skechers, would you be a little bit, I don't really want to try that?
Probably, but I can't put a pin on why. I don't know if it's like the name, like a name association with something.
Yeah, it's associated with a little different brand. Anyway, so I tried with Skechers.
So how often should people replace their running shoes?
If you're doing a lot in them, the manufacturers still tell you 6-8 months. If a person's not just killing the roads, you can get a year out of them. Quite frankly, today's midsoles are out of just superior material, and they're going to hold up a lot better than, your daddy's running shoes.
Yeah, I think I've got a pair of Brooks that I don't know if I originally purchased these from y'all. I've purchased a pair of Brooks from y'all before.
You probably purchased them from us.
Probably, and I think I've had them for probably a couple years, so I'm sure they're probably due for a refresh.
You need to come get the treatment. I need to put you on the machine, give you the Patty G. Jenni P. treatment.
Hey, look, might have to do that, make a little live out of it and show everybody what the experience is.
That would be a lot of fun.
Do a little Instagram live. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Okay, we'll have to figure out some time, and when we're both going to be in the shop.
Super duper.
So as we start to kind of wrap up the show, we have a set list of questions we like to ask, and the first one being, what 3 lessons have you learned along the way in your career?
Um, but it's going to probably be a recap of this interview. Probably, relationships are absolutely critical. Whether it's with your vendor or with the person that you're talking to at a podcast. It's developing relationships where people can feel good doing business with you, and don't be afraid to make a mistakes. You can't surprise yourself if you look around every corner. You gotta jump into it blind, and have a love for what you're doing. I always say it's so cliche when you say that, but if you really, really, really love it, it's I'm not gonna go cliche about it. You're not work a day in your life, but you really got to like it because you spend a lot of time at work.
So I think to not go cliche, but I wholeheartedly agree with all 3 of those. But I think too, when you really love your craft and your passion, you're gonna push its boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
push it as
yeah. That's a
far
good
as
way
you
to put it.
can, and
Good
you're
way
gonna
to.
do everything you can to grow it.
Absolutely.
So you may still be working, but you're gonna do everything in your power to see it through all the way and make it successful.
Absolutely. I mean, we are in our industry. Varsity Sports is kind of a rebel. All the reps. I mean, and we're a good rebel, though. Everybody that knows that they work with us are going to get a whole different brand of what they're going to do. And, it's a reputation that I take real pride in.
Yeah, I mean, when you have to, you gotta stand out from the competitors to make
Oh,
yourself
yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
So, what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
Go barefooted and swim in creeks, I guess.
Those were fun
Oh,
days.
yeah. Oh, gosh. Those were wonderful days.
Oh, I've got just memories on memories of going to the river at my friend's house and swinging on rope swings and walking through the
I
creeks.
know. My grandparents had a place in Woodville where, I think Barrett has a place in Woodville, but one of our sponsors is the reason I say that. In Woodville, Mississippi, and so we'd go in the creeks in Woodville, Mississippi, and it was great.
Oh yeah, that's
I
fantastic.
think kids are getting back to our
I think COVID
childhood.
forced them.
I hope so.
They had their
I don't know.
parents got tired of them being inside and said, "Go outside."
Go outside and be a kid like I was.
Yeah, do something outdoors. I mean, that I know as a kid being outside was, gosh, we couldn't come in till it was dark. Like that was the rule.
It's funny that I'm saying I'd rather be barefoot when I'm in the shoe industry, but I mean, do you remember as a kid when the streets got so hot that you'd actually have tar?
Mhm.
My feet were in the summer. It was black tar spots all over them, but they were toughened up because that
Oh
tar
yeah.
would melt on my feet. I didn't care.
We used to live off of Lobdell and growing up, and we would go to Terra Pool
Uh-huh.
and going from the car to the gravel concrete, you have to walk across the asphalt.
Uh-huh.
And we would just like be jumping,
Ow, ow,
be
ow, ow,
hopping
ow,
and
ow.
skipping all the way across the parking line. You'd burn your feet, but I mean that was summer. That's what it was.
By July, those feet were so tough. I mean,
Oh,
I had asphalt, little black asphalt feet. That, couldn't clean it off.
Oh no, I'm sure they hated us in the pool because we were all in the swim team. I'm
I
sure they
know.
hated us being in the pool with black feet, but
My
it
grandmother
was
used
what it
to
is.
think that we were just such, hillbillies that my mother let us barefoot. That was just anyway, she was a Southern lady.
That's the culture. It's
I
what it
know,
was.
I know.
So, what is something I'm sure we talked about this a lot throughout the whole show, but what is something you love about Baton Rouge?
The people, it's just some wonderful people, just I mean, I love everything about Baton Rouge. Anybody that knows me knows that. Well, not everything. I mean, there's some things.
There's some things we can fix.
I will tell you that I think oftentimes Baton Rouge gets in the way of itself, and so we need to keep doing all the things you and I talked about. We just need to keep pushing the cool.
Oh yeah, I think what people come for the food, stay for the company.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it.
So for the final question, Jenny, what can I do to help you?
Come do an Instagram live and show people the Patty G, Jenny P shoe connection.
I like that, Patty G, Jenny P. I like that. It's like you're in marketing or something.
Well, I've been at it a while.
Well, thank you so much, Jenny, for coming on the
Sure,
show.
Pat.
I really appreciate it. Do y'all have any upcoming events or races y'all are a part of, or how can people get involved with the running club?
Go to varsityrunning.com, look on the calendar. We meet Monday, Thursdays afternoons at bars, restaurants, Saturday mornings at 7:30 at coffee shops. So we try to do a real good job of really supporting the businesses around Baton Rouge. Like we'll be at Bistro Byron's this Thursday, and there's live music after and stuff like that. And so we'll run through Webb Park. So free, anybody can show up, anywhere from 6-minute miles to 15-minute miles.
I'm in between
Somewhere
that.
in there.
I'm somewhere in there, so that's good. Well, thank you so much. We are going to do the Instagram Live. We got a
that would be
coordinator
fun.
schedule. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
Especially because of how cool just your space is. It's just so unique, and I love it.
Kind of you to say.
So thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate
pleasure.
it. And thank everybody else for watching or listening, whatever platform you're consuming us on. I really appreciate it. I know the guests do as well. Be sure to check out Varsity Sports if you're in the market for just a good time, really. You don't even need to go. You don't even need to be in the market for shoes. You'll
Beer
walk
in
in
the
there for a
fridge,
good
free
time.
beer in the fridge.
Beer in the fridge. Look, Paradise Park's in there, so I'm definitely going to have to go and take a stop. And thank you all so very much. Share the show. Help us spread the word. We are able to bring on people like Jenni and showcase her stories by the support of you and what you do to make this show a success, whether it's sharing, telling people about it. You know, we talked about it in this show. It's all about the people, you know, and the word of mouth and spreading that. So we would love if you want to click that little share or like button, whatever you want to do, or just tell your friends and family about the show. We're very thankful for that. And also a big thank you to our wonderful sponsors that make this show possible. And you're going to hear a little bit of a message from them right now. Thank you all so very much for listening to this episode of the Patty G Show, brought to you by Government Taco. They're located on the corner of Government Street and Jefferson Highway. Jay is always slinging up a new taco of the month, so if you're a frequenter to Government Taco, let us know in the comments what you thought about this month's taco of the month. If you're not a frequenter, maybe trying out this month's taco might just convert you. Big thanks over to them at Government Taco for making the Patty G Show possible. Thank you so very much to our sponsor, Falaya Real Estate. They are the all-in-one real estate platform for you, whether you're buying or selling. They've got options starting out at $399 to sell your home. The average lister saves anywhere from $7,800 on their closing of their home. It's really incredible what they're doing with it. Barrett is amazing at Falaya. Jacob, they're going to help you through the entire process from start to finish and really treat you like family.
At Horizon Financial Group, we enjoy helping others achieve greater confidence, clarity, and direction in their lives. We realize everyone's path to financial success is unique. Sometimes you just need a friendly guide along the way. Whether it's customized financial planning, individual wealth management, or servicing your company's retirement plan, we've got the team with the experience to help you reach your goals. Horizon Financial Group, helping you provide, protect, and prosper for those counting on you. Visit us at horizonfg.com. Cetera Advisors, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Cetera is a separate entity.
Thank you so very much to Mallard Bay Outdoors, the Airbnb for the outdoor sportsman. If you're looking to book a hunt or a fishing trip, this is the platform to use. They were a past guest of the Patty G Show. We got to learn all about what they're doing from the ground up. They are really revolutionizing the booking process for hunts and fish all across the country. For your next hunting or fishing experience, or maybe your corporate retreat, you're looking for something to do for your employees, book a hunt or a fishing trip with Mallard Bay Outdoors, and they will take care of you every step of the way, from organizing it with the guides and the captains to making sure you can take care of them at the end of the trip. Mallard Bay Outdoors, a proud sponsor of the Patty G Show. Thank you to Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge for making this show possible. Nick Pentis is a past guest. We love having him on. Listening to him talk about the culture they have over at Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge is really an incredible thing to hear. How they treat not only their employees, but every customer that walks through the door. You are more than just a number to them. They're going to give you that white glove concierge service every step of the way. They're going to make you feel like family and take what can be a stressful time in people's life, shopping for a car. They're going to make it so enjoyable and so pleasurable. You're going to want to go back there time and time again for every new vehicle. Thank you so very much for Mercedes-Benz of making this show possible. Thank you so very much to Currency Bank, a proud sponsor of the Patty G Show. If you are looking for a business bank that fosters on three core values, relationships, service, and technology, Currency Bank is the place for you. They pride themselves on convenient, accessible, and secure online banking resources where you can manage your account balances, initiate transfers, enroll with e-statements, and more via their online portal. Between the relationships, the service, and the technology, they are going to be that partner with your business every step of the way, regardless of what you need. Currency Bank is the bank for business owners.
Simple man, don't want a complication. Complication.